And then here's what I thought. My sponsor was making almost $1 million a year. And if I stopped ordering the Zango juice, he made minus $10 off the $1 million a year. So I thought, maybe he actually cares about me. Maybe he actually is taking his money and his time and his passion and putting it into me because he cares about me. Maybe your uplines and our teams have our best interest at heart. All of us. And maybe they want us all to win. They want us to win. People say to me, they say, how hard did you work on your business? Like, did you 30 minutes a week, 3 times a week? Or how much time did you put in? Because I'm kind of looking at it, trying to analyze it. Have any of you ever seen the show Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
Well, those of you that haven't, I'm about to ruin the show for you, so I apologize. So Shawshank Redemption, the guy's wrongfully in prison. He goes to prison. It's a god-awful prison. He meets a good friend. It's god-awful. And then he goes through and because of good behavior, gets a little hammer. And he lives in this dungeon cell. You remember the story? At the end of the show, he would take this little hammer and he would chip out rocks. And they would be like chess pieces. Long story short, at the end of the movie, the warden comes into a cell, can't find him, picks the little stones off, and in his anger, throws it at the wall. And it pops right through the poster. And the warden says, what? It goes like this, and pulls it. And there's a hole this big in his cell. And the warden says, what is this? They look in there. He had chipped his way out of prison into freedom. One chip with a 3-inch little hammer, one chip at a time. So people say, how hard did you work on your Zango business? I said, whenever the guards weren't looking, I was chipping away. Like many of you, I've had family members and friends and business associates say, you're still chasing the network marketing dream. I mean, no offense, I like you. But you're still chasing the dream. You're chasing the dream. And I said, this isn't about network marketing, folks. It's not even about Zango. It was about freedom for my little family. So I said, yeah, I'm chasing my freedom. You bet I am. And I'm excited to send them this YouTube when I'm done. So about 2 years ago, my stepdad calls me and says, I've got a guy that would like to talk to you named Lennon Ledbetter. He says he's in a company called Amway. I said, I know who he is. The guy might be the biggest networker in the world. I know who he is. I know that he used to fill the Energy Solutions Arena where Utah Jazz played, filled the lower bowl, filled the upper bowl, filled the 3,000 seats. And then they sold so many tickets they had to put him in a limo. And then they filled the Huntsman Center where the University of Utah plays, filled the lower bowl, filled the upper bowl. Then they filled so many tickets they had to go fill the Salt House with another 1,000 people so people could hear him speak. Filled the Georgia Dome, got a $1.4 million check on the Superdome Stadium when they filled that. I said, yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah. He might be the best in the world. Now, I don't know how you would quantify who's the best. Everyone's the best. There's a lot of great networkers. But I said, yeah, I've heard of him. He said, well, he'd like to talk to me. I said, well, I'm going to do my deal. I said, I'll buy him lunch if he wants to talk to me. Anyway, long story short, he gave me his number one time. He says, some things have changed in his life. You should call him. Now, folks, I was 27 years old, and I was a 5K. I was a 500K, but I was trapped in a 5K ball. And so I thought, what am I supposed to do with this guy's number? I'm not going to call him. Call him? No, I'm not going to call him. I'm a 5K. What is a 5K going to tell this guy? One of the biggest networkers on the planet. So in my fear, I reached out to a close friend and even a mentor figure. I reached out to John Godzich. Now, John's done, $2 billion in network marketing business. I reached out to John and I said, John, I'm really hesitant. It's me. I've got the phone number to Lennon Ledbetter. What do I do? And he goes, cool as the other side of the pillow. He says, well, call him. I said, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him. You call him. I'm scared half to death. Why don't you go ahead and call him? He says, just call him. I said, but what do I say? He says, just tell him that Doug Weed and I would like to have lunch with him. So I said, sounds easy enough. So I call, and I dial the number. I remember right where I was in my car. And by the way, I'm about to have heat stroke in my car, and the air conditioning's on. Push send, like this. I'm driving, I'm thinking to myself, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer. And he picks up the phone like this. Hello, this is Lennon. All excited and happy. I said, okay. Now, folks, I was 27 years old and I was a 5K, so I had to put on my 40-year-old voice. I said, Mr. Ledbetter. And he said, I said, my name is Justin Krantz, and I told him how I got his number, and I said, John Godish and Doug Weed are friends of mine, would they like to have lunch with you? And he says, that sounds fantastic. And I'm thinking to myself, it couldn't be that easy. So we go over to his 37,000 square foot house. He has the 2 Ferraris out front, the Maserati, all paid for cash. He lives in this big estate in the cove in the mountains. We go over there and they sit down. Now I'm in my iron shirt, I'm in my iron pants, and I am tucked in as best as I can. Because I need to compensate for how scared I am with how cool I look, right? And John Godish and Doug are just sitting there on the couch. Hey, what's up, dude? Just all chill, just really chill. I'm thinking, how do you get so chill? We meet, and he says, long story short, he says to Doug, why'd you choose Zango? And Doug goes on to tell him. And Doug says, Lennon, we're going to make millions. This is what we've always dreamed of, this company. Long story short, Lenny gets back to my stepdad and says, I'm going to dance with the girl that brought me to the dance. In other words, I'm going to stay with my company. About 9 months later, now folks, I went from 5K to 20K, because number 26 was a builder. So I had 1, 22, and 26. And then number 28 was a builder. 1, 22, 26, 28. And I thought, okay. So when I called, about 9 months later, my stepdad called me and said, you should call Lennon Ledbetter back. And I said, I'm not calling him again. It scared me half to death. I almost had a heart attack last time. So I get on the phone with Tommy Johnson. He says, call him, just call him, just call him, just